back to episode number 50 of the SaaS landing page review show. On today's episode, we are reviewing EZFacility. Okay, so if you guys are watching this and you're running a fitness facility, so if you're, running a tennis club facility, football, anything that kind of comes under that kind of, fitness center facility, then I'd really recommend that you go and give these guys a check out, okay? Because they've essentially created a software, like a management software, just to basically just simplify, any facility owner's life, okay? So like I said, I'd really recommend that you go and give these guys a check out, okay? But without further ado, let's get into this and let's start going through the main headline, okay? So to kind of read this out, obviously you've got like an interchange in headline, but I'll just read it as I go. So the leader in personal training management software. Obviously that's switching in and out, okay? Okay, something that I would say about this type of headline is a perfect example of a product statement headline. Now, product statement headlines are not the best type of headlines to be using. And there's kind of two reasons. Number one, one thing I'd say straight away is because you guys are obviously targeting lots of different sub-markets, you're obviously targeting like football clubs, like tennis clubs, just like people who own lots of, gyms. I would recommend creating like one separate landing page for each sub-market that you're trying to target and then run campaigns. Let's say, maybe you run a tennis club, campaign where you're just targeting tennis club owners. Okay. And then have a dedicated landing page just, speaking to tennis club owners. Because the thing is when you're, even though these people are going to have similar problems, a gym owner is going to have a similar problem to a yoga studio owner. They're still going to have, there's still going to be things that are a little bit different. Okay. And when you're just targeting everyone that comes under the umbrella of, a facility owner, it's very broad. And a lot of these guys are going to have very different problems. Okay. So that's the first thing I say is, really try and niche down and create separate, like individual landing pages for each submarket that you're targeting within, under the umbrella of facilities. Okay. Now, the next thing, the reason why I say product statement headlines don't really work that well, and to give you an example of, other product statement headlines, it's where they basically just literally state what their software is, i.e. we are a project management solution for digital marketing agencies. We are a dental practice management software. In this case, they're saying, the leader in gym management software, right? And the minute you just state what your thing does, okay, like what your software does, like who it's for, you're kind of like shifting the focus from actually speaking to the end user to just speaking about what you do. Okay. And what you've got to remember is people, they don't buy software. People don't buy a management software. A gym owner is not looking for a management software, right? He's looking for something that can solve his problem or, just better help the, life of his gym, right? Like, people, like I said, people are not buying management softwares. People are not buying any form of software. They're buying what that software can do for them. Just like, when someone buys a pair of jeans, they're not buying it because they're buying a pair of, cotton jeans. That they're not, that's not why they're buying them. They're buying them so they can look better, right? So you want to speak to, the almost like the problem rather than just stating what the software does. It's a switch that I think a lot of founders need to make because a lot of founders, they just fall into the mistake of just talking about themselves and how great their software is and how amazing it is. And it shifts the focus from speaking to the end user to just speaking about yourself, which is a very dangerous thing to do in marketing. Okay. An example of what I've kind of came up for the headline, obviously, this is an example, if you were targeting a tennis club, because like I said, I'd really recommend that you just run specific campaigns and create specific landing pages for each sub-market that you're trying to target. It's so much more effective. When you kind of take this like generic approach where it's very just, this is for all facility owners, it kind of loses that market sophistication and market kind of, if a gym owner hits this page, yeah, it kind of speaks to them, but it doesn't really. It's still very broad. Okay. So I'd recommend creating individual landing pages for each submarket. Okay. An example of a headline that you could create would be something, along the lines of, running a tennis club, ? Struggling to manage your tennis club facility with your current software. Okay. Now, obviously, I do not know the ins and outs of what your software does and what problems it helps, these facility owners, fix. But I'm just going to assume that, their current software is not too great, it's a bit crap, and they're looking for a new, updated, software that can really just take their club to the next level. Okay, and just kind of, eliminate the creases in the business. So the reason why we structure the headline like this is because, first of all, what we're doing, as simple as it sounds, is we're literally just calling out the end user, in this case, the tennis club owner, okay? Because by doing that, by saying, running a tennis club, ? It makes them say yes in their head, right? Whereas, a tennis club owner reads this, headline and they're like, it's just a statement, right? Which is why, using question marks that actually speak to the end user in your headlines are so powerful, okay? Because it just makes them keep on reading. It's the yes effect, okay? And then by directly following up with the problem that they're facing with their tennis club when it comes to, management, just managing their business, managing their, management software, it really kind of like speaks to them, okay? And what this does is we first of all get their attention, okay, with this part here. And we then follow it up, okay, with the problem that they're facing in their business. And it kind of creates this like emotional shift, okay? And by introducing the problem, it starts to agitate them, okay? They start thinking about how this problem is really painful and how it's affecting their business and how it's a nightmare and just, all of this stuff, okay? So it's a really, really powerful headline to use. I call it the transformation statement headline, okay? Now, I'll come back to the subheadline, but I want to kind of go through some of this stuff because I realize we've not got much time. So if I just quickly scroll down, I think I did make some notes. I'm going to run through these. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously I've made the point about targeting, different submarkets. Now, one more thing as well. I noticed that you had a review page. I would actually move these reviews. I do two things. Okay. So first of all, I would convert these like written testimonials and I would convert them into video testimonials because just straight away, people can relate much, much more with video. It's like so much more real and raw. It's not like, it doesn't feel very fake. Okay. It's just, video, especially interview style video testimonials where you're actually, either the business development manager, the account manager actually gets on the call with, the actual client in hand and you kind of ask some questions and you do a testimonial like that. It comes across much, much more real, right? Whereas written testimonials, not so much, okay? But one more thing as well, I would move the testimonials from the reviews page. I'd probably just get rid of that page, to be honest, and I would move them directly underneath this main kind of headline and page fold here. I would kind of insert them kind of around this area here, okay? The reason why you want to kind of lay the page out like that is because to kind of explain the framework again, what we're doing first of all is we're getting the attention of the end user. In this case, it could be a tennis club, a tennis club founder. We're then introducing the problem and we're further touching on the problem and really kind of pressing on that pain and problem in the subheadline. At this point, they're really agitated. They're really like this. They're really thinking about how this problem is a nightmare in their business. They then scroll down and, oh my God, look at all these other testimonials from all of these other tennis club owners that have used the software to solve that exact problem. Okay. And then once they've, binge watched all of them video testimonials, they're like, okay, these guys really have what I'm looking for. Okay. Whereas if you just try and explain the problem you're solving, like in the features and, and you just come out, in the headline and say, this is what we do and blah, 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 people don't really pay, people don't pay as much attention. Right. Whereas if you can actually get your clients, your current clients to explain how EZFacility has solved their exact needs and problem, okay, it comes across much more real and raw, okay? So guys, I really, really hope you've enjoyed this episode and I will see you tomorrow in episode number 51, Race to 100.